Neo has finally spoken out on battery swapping versus charging, leaving political correctness aside for the first time. Hi, guys, welcome back to my channel, The Wealthy Mindset. It's yours truly, Money Making Mitch. And as usual, guys, this is not financial advice. Please do your own due diligence and research. I am happy that they finally has set aside political correctness for the truth and just saying it the way it is. Dr. Shen believes the difference between supercharging and battery swapping reflects two distinct levels of innovative thinking: analogical innovation versus systemic innovation. With the widespread adoption of 800 volt and 900 volt architectures, he said charging for 5 minutes to replenish 300 kilometers of range is no longer just a slogan. It has become a true reflection of the current technological advancements in new energy vehicles. And a lot of people love to argue that in the comment section. Well, there's no need for battery swapping anymore because there's fast charging. The speed of supercharging now seems to be approaching the refueling experience of traditional gasoline-powered cars almost indefinitely. Now remember, our next-gen battery swap station that will be released next month will swap the battery in 87 seconds. Wrap your heads around that. He said, however, a sharp question follows: if charging can already be as fast as refueling, is there still a need for battery swapping? This is a question that Shen, president of Ladao, is often asked. Last night, Shen shared an article titled "The Limits of Supercharging versus the Infinity of Battery Swapping." Remember, he has a doctorate in technology. A competition not on the same dimension is the name of the article, systematically articulating his perspective. In his view, supercharging and battery swapping are not engaged in a life or death competition. They are fundamentally not competing on the same dimension. Battery swap stations support intelligent dispatch, where it checks the health of the battery before giving it to another driver. Can charging do that? No, it cannot. You're basically driving off with a potential fireball. Shen summarized 5 advantages of the battery swapping technology. A more certain user experience. Shen pointed out in the article that the core pursuit of supercharging is the limit of single vehicle, single session energy, replenishment speed, while the uncertainty of the actual experience is indeed unavoidable. This is because the actual charging power is the minimum value among the battery's power acceptance, the charging pile's power output, and the power the grid can supply. It cannot be directly equated with the figures claimed by manufacturers, as achieving these maximum power levels requires many additional conditions in practice. And by the way, we're supporting the energy for that grid that they're using to charge their cars. Even if both the grid and the charging pile have sufficient power, the fastest charging speed is only attainable during a specific phase of a single vehicle's charging session. If other vehicles are charging simultaneously at the same station, the power will be shared, leading to reduced speeds. And we see it all the time. In contrast, battery swapping can essentially deliver a consistent and certain experience unaffected by weather. As we've seen a lot of times when there's snowstorms, sometimes these charging stations fail. We've seen it here in America a lot with Tesla. Or environmental conditions. Furthermore, it can optimize users' charging and travel plans through intelligent prediction and scheduling. Full life cycle battery health management. Frequent use of fast charging can increase a battery's internal resistance and accelerate its degradation. Some manufacturers, out of the battery safety concerns, may restrict the fast charging capability for vehicles belonging to users who frequently use fast charging. On the other hand, battery swapping is different. It aims to build a multi-dimensional energy ecosystem. Key word here. Striving not only for the convenience of a 3-minute swap, which will soon be 87 seconds, but also simultaneously addressing safety management. lifespan management. Yes, the battery lasts longer with battery swapping. And cascaded utilization of batteries throughout their entire life cycle, reducing vehicle purchase and usage costs. To accommodate occasional long distance travel needs with supercharging, users often need to purchase a large capacity battery upfront when buying the vehicle, increasing the initial investment. Battery swapping through the battery as a service model, which NIO has, lowers the entry barrier for vehicle purchase, making it available to the middle class and even lower middle class. Meanwhile, users can flexibly rent battery peaks of different capacities based on their daily commute and long distance travel needs, balancing experience and cost. So if you're going on a long distance, you can swap out and upgrade. Number four, more grid friendly, transforming from a grid burden to a grid helper. Charging stations can't do that, my dear lads. Supercharging piles have high single unit power demands. Taking a 60 charging pile as an example, one pile requires a distribution grid capacity of 600 kilowatt, which is difficult to obtain in many areas. Large-scale concentrated use can impose shocks on local grids, necessitating expensive grid expansion and upgrades. In contrast, battery swap stations are natural distributed energy storage units and nodes of virtual power plants. They can charge during off-peak grid hours and discharge power back to the grid during peak hours. Valley filling and peak shaving, significantly improving grid capacity utilization. Additionally, they can become positive assets that enhance grid security and help the grid integrate more wind and photovoltaic power. And this is why the Chinese government is helping NIO build out hundreds and thousands of these stations. An expandable business model. The equipment investment for a supercharging station itself is a relatively low, but the investment for the entire station transformer and power distribution system is comparable to that of a battery swap station. Meanwhile, since charging station revenue primarily relies on service fees, the pressure to recoup the investment is considerable. But battery swap stations offer high service efficiency per unit of time and high equipment utilization. They can charge the batteries on site, regardless of whether vehicles come for a swap. Simultaneously, as distributed energy storage units, swap stations can generate revenue by leveraging electricity price differences, storing power at night, and performing swaps during the day. Shen previously revealed that NIO's over 3,000 battery swap stations can generate approximately over 200 million yuan in annual revenue through this method. Shen shares the single month frequency regulation statement details of a NIO swap station. In Shen view, the difference between the supercharging and battery swapping technology routes reflect two distinct levels of innovative thinking modes: analogical innovation and systematic innovation. In the range of an extended range vehicle is insufficient, and more batteries if there aren't enough charging piles, and more fuel tanks. Shen refers to this as analogical innovation. Battery swapping, on the other hand, represents systemic innovation. It requires holistic consideration of 5 key elements: user, vehicle swap station, battery, and grid, and drivers collaborate optimization across all aspects with a comprehensive mindset. According to Shen the systematic nature is reflected in 3 aspects: technology integration and process re-engineering. The battery swap system deeply integrates various technologies, including mechanical engineering, automatic swapping mechanisms that CATL doesn't have in their stations, electrochemistry, battery management, power electronics, grid interaction, and data intelligence. Demand forecasting and rescheduling. Yes, AI is also into play. Ecosystem value creation. The battery swap models ultimately construct a collaborative energy ecosystem involving multiple stakeholders. Everyone wins. Dynamic evolution capability through systemic innovation processes, the vitality of continuous evolution. Yes, NIO's nationwide charging and battery swap network Returning to the essence of the issue, what users need is not to carry a mobile energy station with them, but a convenient, worry-free energy replenishment experience. For Shen, as well as Envo and Neo behind him, this is not about negating the value of supercharging. On the contrary, most of the energy replenishment stations currently built by the Neo Group are integrated charging and swapping station. This in itself indicates a more likely development direction. Supercharging and battery swapping are not an either-or replacement, but a scenario based on integrated and symbiotic relationship. Data shows that as of December 4, 2025, NEO has built 3,604 battery swap stations and 27,526 charging piles, catering for the not-so-intelligent consumer as well. I hope you guys found this video yet again to be informational, inspirational, and motivational. If so, guys, don't forget to hit that thumbs up and hype it. It takes a lot of time to do these videos and the editing. And if you haven't yet subscribed, you might want to think about doing so, because in this channel, we are waking up the middle class for the first time to get a major piece of the pie from the ground level up as to how the games are played on Wall Street. And like 50 said, we get rich or we die trying, guys.